Folklore or folk tales are passed on from one person to another, giving the story life. Families and friends sit around and tell us these peculiar stories they heard growing up, and the stories stick with us.
So folktales are stories that are told by a community of people, generation after generation. They don't have any origin point. There's no time where the story was written down by someone and then has been retold since that, but they spontaneously emerge as part of a community's belief system about the world. The stories can either be explanatory, they can be some sort of warning, they can be some sort of lifting up or celebration of a particular aspect of the past or the present, and they always feel like they're timeless. They feel that they could have happened at any moment. Folktales are above and outside of time and place.
Because folklore is about two things: what's in our hearts and what's in our minds, and the interrelationship between the two makes it very powerful and makes it talked about. So obviously, if the devil really was at the Boccaccio, it's a hell of a story to tell.
The folktale Devil at the Disco, or The Dance with the Devil, left its fiery imprint on the Rio Grande Valley. According to the legend, it is said to have happened April 13th, 1979, Good Friday, in McAllen at Boccaccio 2000 nightclub.
A young girl went to the club, disobeying her mother, who told her not to go since it was Holy Week and bad things could happen. She arrived at the disco with her friends. A handsome stranger asked her to dance. As the music started, they danced, but the stranger began to spin her around faster and faster. Onlookers watched and noticed the man's legs. One was a goat's hoof and the other a chicken's talon. The girl fainted. The stranger let her go and disappeared into the night, leaving behind a sulfuric smell. People say it was the devil himself.
The legend has many, many variations. Some say the woman died at the hospital, others say she moved away, and others say she lived and is waiting for her handsome stranger. The question on everybody's mind, did it really happen? It's been 40 years since the devil danced at the disco. The nightclub is no longer standing. It's now a plaza. Dr. Mark Glazer, a retired UTRGV anthropology professor, dedicated time to research the legend for his book. He said everywhere he went, he would hear the story being told again and again.
The reason the story is tethered to the area is because of the location and the community. He doesn't think that the devil was there that night, but maybe something did happen. According to Glazer, to understand why this story is told, we must first look at the culture.
So the story has a cultural base in which to survive, and does so because it can on that basis. This is not a science, so all we can do is try to understand. And one of the best ways to understand stories is through the culture in which the story is embedded. As the story is embedded in Mexican-American culture, we need to try and understand the story through Mexican-American culture.
Devil dancing at the nightclub continues to live on, taking on a life of its own. It's been retold in several books, movies, and online. Folktales possess an allure to continue to exist because there is something special about the stories and being the one to share them.
The Tale of La Llorona. She is also a very important character in the area. And again, there are stories about her origins, but we don't know.
First folktales that I was told was La Mano Pachona, the disembodied, like hairy claw that crawls around, looking for mischievous children to like punish them, to drag them into the darkness, strangle them, gouge their eyes out. My grandmother had all kinds of versions of like what would happen to you should the Mano Pachona or Mano Peluda, Mano Negra come across you.
Dr. David Bowles, assistant professor of the Department of Literatures and Cultural Studies, says folktales belong to the people and they don't have an end. They will continue to be passed on.
Folktales in general are always going to endure because they make life interesting. They give meaning to life. They help us to explain things that we don't have explanations for otherwise. And I think in that way they ease like an existential tension, right? why do these bad things happen to us? Nobody wants to blame them on God, so it's a lot easier to blame them on the devil or monsters or witches that are out to get you. And having a target, having someone to foist the blame upon, makes grappling with the bad things that happen to you easier. And as long as bad things continue to happen to us, we're going to be looking for someone to blame or something.